Today's 2-minute fairy tale is gross, like decent horror flick gross. It involves self-harm, just FYI. It's from Bukovina, which is part Romania, part Ukraine, and it's called The Rivals. It's part of a folktale category called The Princess's Birthmark, and there aren't any pictures of it, so this is the closest I could get. It's from The Swineherd, which is in the same category. There's an emperor's daughter who has a moon-shaped birthmark on her forehead, a moon-shaped birthmark on her breast, and a star-shaped birthmark on her back. The emperor proclaims whoever can say what these marks are gets to marry her. There's a swineherd who has 3 golden piglets in the forest. The princess comes upon him and she's like, I want one. He says, they're not for sale, but lift your skirt to your knees and I'll give you one. She does, gets the piglet. The next day he's like, lift your skirt to your waist. She does, gets another piglet. The third time he says, get completely naked, turn around in front of me 3 times, then you can get the third piglet. So she does, she gets the piglet. And her dad's been happy about these piglets the whole time, he just doesn't know how she's getting them. So the swineherd comes to the palace now that he knows the marks to try and get the princess to marry him. But she has a lover who is a prince, and he knows the marks because he's her lover. So the swineherd and the prince both know the marks, so to settle the matter, they decide they're both gonna sleep in the same bed with the princess that night, with her in the middle, and whoever she's embracing in the morning gets to marry her. The swineherd hides bread, fruit, and sweets in his shirt, and in the middle of the night he starts eating them, and the princess says, what are you eating? And he goes, I'm eating my lips. And she says, give me some. And so he gives her some of the sweets, and she goes, ooh, your lips are sweet. The prince heard this and replied, mine are sweeter, and took out a knife, cut off his own lips, and handed them to the princess, who threw them to the floor. Next, the swineherd gives the princess some fruit, saying it's his nose. The prince again cuts off his nose, gives it to the princess, and she throws it to the floor. He finally gives her some bread, says it's his ears, and then the prince cuts off his own ears. She throws those on the floor, and the prince bled to death. As you would, and the princess pushed him out of the bed onto the floor and took the swineherd in her arms. Brutal. The next morning they were found embracing each other and the prince's corpse is on the ground, so they get married and they live happily ever after. Amazingly, this is not the only birthmark story where it gets settled this way, and I'm going to tell you 2 more in the next 2 days that are even grosser. As always, check out my book, Dust Spells, a reimagining of the 12 Dancing Princesses, and my podcast. The links are in the bio.